And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are not fools on the hill, and we want to know who owns the land. And that is, of course, from the late house musician Sonny Okosun. Sonny Okosun, we just love that tune, that beat here at ABS. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in from all over the globe by satellite television, by Roku. I am very excited to be coming to you today. I got an exciting program that I bring to you this gracious day. I'd like to welcome all of you who are tuning in from all of the continental Europe, including the United Kingdom. All of you in the continental USA, including Canada, South America, the Middle East, and every part of the globe that you can imagine. Thank you for tuning in. I do not know what is happening with the numbers today, but ladies and gentlemen, if you are joining, go ahead and quickly hit your share button and let them know the anchor man is not live, he is alive. Okay, once more, thank you for tuning in. Please go ahead, quickly hit your share button. Let us get at least 1,000 people within the next 5 minutes. That is very doable within the next 5 minutes. That has been done several times. So please, we didn't send out a poster or flyer to advertise this program as usual. But of course, most of you now know I come up every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Of course, there are occasions I haven't shown up for one reason or the other, but have it at the back of your mind. Every Monday and every Wednesday and Fridays, if everything goes well, I will be here. So go ahead, hit that share button. I come to you with a very exciting guest, that will be joining me from the UK. So please go ahead and hit that share button. Let me see the numbers jumping. Today is Monday, August the 1st. Monday, August the 1st, and so much has been going on, especially on ground zero. We hear so much talks about some lockdown that nobody calls for. We hear a lot of commotion on what is going to happen in La République du Cameroon in their transition. We hear what the newly installed genocidal colonial military General Buba is beginning to do in Bamenda. We cannot touch on all of that today, but just to inform you, we are following up on everything that is happening on ground zero. Please go ahead, hit your share button. Let me quickly see those of you who have joined. Hit your share button. The numbers are too slow to my liking, ladies and gentlemen. I know many people did not know I was coming live, but you can send the link to them. I have a very exciting interview. With an exciting guest coming up in a few minutes. So go ahead and hit your share button and populate the platform. Meantime, let me see. Let me know where you are joining from, and if you are watching by way of Roku or you have downloaded Roku in your house, let me know, please. Let me know. All right, I see again, please. These numbers are too slow. I don't know what is going on out there, but please hit your share button if you have joined. I see Bro CY. It says, Secretary Chris, they should mute what is playing in the background, please. Oh, is that for real? All right, let me get the technicians to see they can mute anything in the background. Okay. All right. Let's see. We don't think anything is playing in the background. If it is still there, let us know if you're hearing any other sound in the background other than my voice. you let us know. Okay. Okay. Something is not right with these numbers. Instead of climbing, I see them going down. Something is just not right. I don't know what it is, but please, the numbers should jump. Jacko Dunn. So hello, Anchor Man. You are a strong man. Thank you, Dad. I see Annie Tech. Populo, I see you. Destiny New Country. Dora, Nzongo Alino. Mercy Freedom. Atem Kung Davidson. It's only God. It's only God who knows why you are there. Oh, that's interesting. All right. I see. Somebody said there is a background. Please let me know whether there is still background noise. Please let me know if there is still any background noise. Let me know if there is still any background noise, because from our end, we seem not to see that. Let's know if there is any background interference. We do not see it from this end. It is not at this end. Okay. All right. All right. I see Becky Awa. I see you. I see also Nzogo Alino. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not know what is happening with these numbers. I don't think you are doing a great job sharing it. Let every forum that you have out there, every WhatsApp forum and every Instagram forum and your Facebook pages and your group Facebook pages, share the links there, please. Nzongo Alino, yes, there's still background noise, but it's manageable. It's off. It should be off now. I think it should be off now. I think the background noise should be off now. If there is any, again, we don't think there is any background noise coming from here. It should have gone by now, because I think the technician was able to identify exactly what it was. So everything should be okay now, I believe. All right, everything should be okay now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for joining the broadcast today. I will start by reminding ground zero, that there is, again, no lockdown declared for all of Ambazonia. Most of you would have received the audio message that I sent out yesterday, trying to clarify on that lockdown that we are hearing out there announced by a group that is not known to be part of this independent struggle. And I mean it. And I really mean it. Again, announced by a group that is not known to be fighting for this struggle. I am talking about the announcement coming from Cho Ayaba. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, I really wonder whether I can call Cho Ayaba a comrade. Sometimes I really wonder whether I should, or he is qualified to be referred to as a comrade. Sometimes, but I just call it, hoping that he will make it, that one of these days he will make a turnaround. A turnaround. We are really hoping that one of these days he makes a turn around. That is what we are all hoping. But let me again remind ground zero. There is nothing like lockdown declared for ground zero. This interim government hasn't declared anyone. And every time when we do, we come to you with information and explain to you exactly why we declare lockdown. In this case, we have not declared any lockdown. And so, we expect you to, of course, I think it's already night over there. Monday Ghost Town is over, and you are now looking forward to tomorrow morning, which is Tuesday. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, Tuesday, go about your business. Go about your business and ignore any such calls for any form of lockdown. I'd like to play an audio clip here that Cho Ayaba sent out announcing this lockdown. I'd like to play that footage so that you can get that information from his own lips. Get it from his own lips. I don't know whether this is the one. All right, I'd like you guys to listen to this audio that was put out by Chairman Ayaba referring to this lockdown. Please, as you join, go ahead and hit your share button. We must see 1K, at least 1K on this screen. So hit your share button as you join. In the meantime, listen to this audio from Cho Ayaba.
And the gentlemen, I will need your advice on this. This is broad scope. In the past months, I reached out to Dr. Okwanga. We had a summit. All of you people saw it. I reached out to Comrade Yerima. We had a summit under the auspices of the CDN. You people saw that. I reached out to the Chris Anu. He really wanted but an interview which I thought would be harmful for our effort of working together. After several attempts.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Cho Ayaba is saying in this audio message that in the few weeks or last few months, he reached out to everybody that you heard mentioned there, including yours truly. And this is what Ayaba is trying to do. Ayaba is trying to present himself as the one trying to bring all the other leaders together in this audio message that you just listened to. He says he reached out to Comrade Daphne, he reached out to Dr. Ebenezer Akwanga, you reached out to Chris Anu, you reached out to Marianta, and she didn't return his call, and so on and so on. Now, Ayaba is trying to place himself in this audio message as the one trying to reach out to bring everybody together. Now, the question that I would like to ask all of you listening to the sound of my voice is, for somebody who cannot show us a single instance for 5 years and counting, where the fighters you see he has on the ground have been fighting, how do you even imagine that some of us will go sitting down to negotiate, working together with him when we cannot prove? Dr. Akwanga, yes, we can prove where he has been working, where his soldiers have been fighting. Soldiers belonging to the interim government, we know where they have been fighting. Daphne, they don't have any soldiers on the ground, and they are not making any pretense about it as if they have soldiers. No other person has. Ayaba says he's got soldiers on the ground, and for 5 years and going to 6 years, everybody is still asking where they are fighting. But imagine that this is the man who now wants to front himself as, you know, the unity setter, the one who initiates unity. There is no way We can sit down and initiate unity. This interim government can sit down and initiate unity with somebody that does not have a battleground, a single battleground. I believe if anybody is genuine, serious in this struggle and approached by Ayaba, the first question should be, Comrade Ayaba, when you launch one battle against La République du Cameroon, we will for once take you very, very seriously. I think that is what it is fair to expect this from any leader approaching Ayaba, or Ayaba approaching any leader. The question should be, please show us where these your fighters on the ground, they are fighting for the past 5 years and counting. We need to know where ADF boys are fighting. Are there ADF fighters on the ground? 100%, they are there. But where have they been fighting? We do not know. If you know it, let us know. Let us know. So please, the idea, now let me continue with this audio. I will come back to this. Again, this audio is coming from Cho Ayaba talking about a lockdown. Listen to it.
Hence trying did not work for a meeting. I asked for the contact of their president, Maria. I wrote to her, she has never responded. When Mr. Weber was going to Germany, we tried very hard to see if we could have a bilateral with him, a secret kind of meeting to begin to build bridges. He did not want it. I reached out to the ARC. People know I'm communicating constantly with Siseko, not directly, but I'm also communicating with Yerima. We consult, sometimes we jump back over. I've established communication with Govjidika through the sons. I was supposed to fly in there to meet him just to get my small blessings and listen to him. Now, my aim has been to see that these bilateral meetings can help us identify areas of disagreement and areas of convergence, and to see how we can begin to build before we go multilateral. I have not been successful with the bilaterals, meeting all of the people. We'll be meeting again with the APLM at the end of the month, next month, to begin to concretize areas of convergence. I know in here we have all people think, how do Jonathan tweeted me? I reach out to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I actually have the wrong audio with me. I thought I was playing the audio in which Cho Ayaba talks about lockdown. And I explained that in that audio where Ayaba talks about lockdown, I listened carefully, waiting for him to give us the reason, to spell out the reason for the lockdown. And I didn't get any. There was none. There was none. No reason for that lockdown. No reason for it. Okay, this is the audio. Listen to it, please. Where Ayaba is talking about lockdown. And I mentioned that I listened to the entire clip of about 3 minutes. He talks about a lockdown, announcing a lockdown, explaining how they arrived at a lockdown. But I waited to get the reason for the lockdown. I did not hear one. Listen to it.
The two mothers in here, and the gentleman, I will need your advice on this. This is broad scope. In the past months, I reached out to Dr. Okwanga. We had a summit. All of you people saw it. I reached out to Comrade Yerima. We had a summit under the auspices of the CDN. You people saw that. I reached out to the Chris Anu. He really wanted but an interview, which people know I'm communicating constantly with Siseko, not directly.
Oh no, again, this is not the one. This is not the one, just to the other form of video. But let me say this, fellow Ambazonians, that Again, I have explained in the audio message that I sent out yesterday that you don't wake up in the morning, jump out of your bed and declare lockdown for ground zero, as we are making these lockdowns to become inconsequential, empty, nothing, meaningless. When they had their elections, we call for lockdowns. When they have their 20th May, their 11th February, and so on and so forth, we call for lockdowns, including their AFCONs and so on. We call for lockdowns. When they plan special events to take place in our territory, we call for lockdowns. Again, I listened to Cho Ayaba for the reason of this lockdown. I didn't get one, not one. And if you have heard one out there, please let us know. If you have heard one reason for which they're calling for a lockdown out there, let us know. So far as I'm concerned, I have not heard one, which is the reason why we are saying ground zero is not made up of stupid people. You are smart and intelligent people. Somebody doesn't wake up in the diaspora and announce a lockdown and you sheepishly obey it. Even if it is this interim government announcing a lockdown, coming to you with a lockdown, and cannot explain to your satisfaction the reason for that lockdown, do not sheepishly follow a lockdown instruction. That should never be the case. If anybody would announce a lockdown, let the reason for that lockdown be explained to your satisfaction on the ground. I hope this message is very clear. Let nobody say, oh, we didn't know. Since Monday, I have been talking about this. And ground zero should not say we didn't hear Secretary Chris's announcement, we didn't get it. No, I have been on top of this since last week, Monday. The interim government hasn't called for a lockdown. Go about your business tomorrow, Tuesday, and the rest of the month. If there is need for a lockdown and the interim government or any group thinks about a lockdown and the reasons are essential, are important, we will call for a lockdown. But we will have to educate you. We owe you education as per why any lockdown in that matter will be necessary. I really hope this message resonates to every one of you on the ground there. Let me move to another subject here. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very exclusive guest coming up in a few minutes. Hit your share button. Let us get these numbers up to 1K, before this show is over. I'd like you to listen to Agbo Bala in this statement here, ladies and gentlemen. Agbo Bala is in the news once more. He is always in the news, but this time it is quite interesting what he is saying. Listen to that. Listen to that.
To respect the other peoples who came together to form this country, the West Cameroonians, the Southern Cameroonians, and the Republic of Cameroon. It's very important to win the minds and hearts of the people of the Southwest and Northwest region, to win the minds and hearts of the Anglophones, for them to understand, make them feel that they are part of this country, that they belong to this country. It's very important to have an Anglophone president and equally to have a rotational presidency. In a way, it will guarantee minority rights also. Because if we only go by the law of the majority, we will never be able to have a president. So it's very important that this campaign should be carried out by everybody in the press. Parce que ce n'est pas facile qu'on peut avoir un président anglophone. Parce qu'on doit faire ça avec les francophones aussi. Les francophones doivent aider les anglophones. Des présidents, M. Aïdjo, M. Biya, c'est le moment aussi pour avoir un président anglophone. Parce qu'il y a la crise. Le pays est to respect the other peoples who came together to form this country. The West Cameroonians, the Southern Cameroonians, and the Republic of Cameroon. It's very important to win the minds and hearts of the people of the Southwest and Northwest region. To win the minds and hearts of the
ladies and gentlemen.
Make them feel that.
Again, that is Agbo Bala, again, I say, in the news, demanding for what they call Anglophone president. In fact, he says he wants a rotational presidency in that country called La République du Cameroon. You can see the newspapers there. It is important, Agboola says, for Cameroon to have an Anglophone president. I wish, ladies and gentlemen, having an Anglophone president could resolve these problems. And I wish if indeed La République du Cameroon had considered this. I do not understand any reason why Agboola would think that if we just have an Anglophone president, the matter will be over, everything will be okay, the problem will be solved. Let me ask Comrade Agboola, we had the president, we had a prime minister before. For all these years since Mr. Biya came in, I think only once have the prime minister been Francophone. That was, Issa Hayatou. That's the only guy I remember as being the prime minister of La République du Cameroon. The rest of them, for the 42 years or 30-something years, have been Anglophones, as you call it. And they also had speakers of the National Assembly who have also been Anglophones. Anglophones. What difference did it make? Absolutely nothing. It didn't make nothing. How do you put an Anglophone president in the mouth of Franks and think that an Anglophone president would have the power to do anything, Mr. Bala? Have you forgotten the way politicians operate in this country? They operate for themselves. They go there for their stomachs and for their families, not for the people. And if I may ask, why is it so hard for you, Agboola, to say Ambazonians want their own free and independent country? Why not? I am thinking that Agboola is hoping that if ever there is an Anglophone president, he may be that president, isn't it? Do you see that? Do you see that? I believe Agboola is thinking if ever there is a thought for an Anglophone president, he would definitely be that president. Well, I would love you to be president of La République du Cameroon, Barrister Agboola. The problem is that, look at your hands. Your hands will be tied. Your hands will be tied because you will be at the mercy of the French. Having an Anglophone president will not change anything, will not give us our own liberties, will not give us our own governors, will not give us our own mayors, will not give us our House of Chiefs, will not give us our own National Assembly. It will not change anything that we already know. So please, these are only half measures. Just imagine that the French hear this and say, oh wow, what a great suggestion. And then they call Yaoundé and say, hey, pick Agboola, pick John Frundi, make him president, give him 5 years, let him stay there, and no Anglophone should ever be president again. Is that what you are asking for, sir? Is that what you are asking for? No, we are asking for our own country with elected governors. We are asking for the obliteration of so-called DOs and gendarmes. They are not in our culture. They are not part of our history. That is what we want. A free and independent Ambazonia where the people have the right and the power to choose their leaders. You can choose 10 Anglophone presidents and put in Yaoundé. They will not bring back the seaport because the French have to agree. They will not dig a road to Bamenda. The French have to agree. They will not do anything. Nothing will change. So let me send a message to your quarters out there. If you think that you can manipulate the minds of the people you call Anglophones by giving them some Anglophone president, we will fight this war and prosecute it till the last man standing. Nothing that comes from Yaoundé is going to whet the appetite of freedom fighters in the southern Cameroons, let me assure you, you can carry out all the manipulations. Nothing will whet the appetite of Ambazonians for a free and independent country. Not after you have killed over 40,000 of us. It is not going to happen. So please, you can as well just shelve that idea. Shelve that idea of an Anglophone president. Those are your own prescription. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now take you to my guest, who is joining me from London. Many of you have listened or watched the lady that I call a very brave lady in England by the name of Sandy Boston. Sandy Boston is a powerful activist out there in La République du Cameroon. Sandy Boston has also been a strong advocate for a free and independent Ambazonia. You need to listen to her. She has passion, she has a drive, and Sandy has said she would prefer, ladies and gentlemen, she would prefer Ambazonian citizenship. She would prefer Ambazonian citizenship to La République du Cameroon citizenship. And she has been also at the forefront of so many protest marches, be it in the France, I think Swiss, and also in London. And she is here to have a discussion with me. And I'm going to ask her some pointed questions as regards this war of independence in Ambazonia and what is going on in La République du Cameroon. Sandy, it's great to have you, man. Good to see you. Welcome to the Anchorman.
Good evening, Mr. Krisanu, and good evening to the 375 people watching us right now. My greetings to all the fighters on Ground Zero. Keep strong. We are all behind you. And my greetings to all the freedom fighters in French Cameroon.
Wonderful. Thank you once more for joining me here on the ABS Anchorman. Listen, it is very, very interesting, the work that the activism that you have carried out there, and you are Francophone. I'd like to know where in the French Cameroon were you born?
Well, it's a very interesting, because I am like the true example of what Cameroon used to be. I was born in Edea, which is in the Littoral division, but I grew up in Douala. I lived all my life in Douala before coming to the UK. And my mother is from the tribe of the brutal person who is ruling now Cameroon. As a matter of fact, my mother's brother was a very powerful man in the government, Mr. Mabengo, who used to be
who is that?
Minister of Defense.
Minister of Defense?
Yes.
In La République is your brother?
Not my brother. So let me start again. My mother, right?
Yes.
My mother is Bulu, so the ruling tribe.
Okay. So your mother is from La République du Cameroon, from the Bulu tribe.
Exactly, the tribe of the one who's ruling the country now.
Okay.
And my mother's brother was in the government for more than 30 years. He's now in jail. He used to be Minister of Defense. He was in charge of the police and so on and so forth. He was a very powerful man. Mr. Edgar Alain Mabengo.
Mabengo, yes.
Exactly. So, and my father is originally from West Cameroon, from Bafa.
Okay.
So I am that mixture of regions of Cameroon that are today very opposite to each other. Not only because of how the country is ruled, but also because at the moment, as you know, there is somebody from the west region of Cameroon who is considered as the most powerful French opponent to the regime. So
So
it
tell
was
me,
very
do you still have a relationship with all these family members that you mentioned, Mebengo and the rest?
well. Um, Both my parents are no longer. Let's make it clear. Both my parents are no longer. But no, Mr. Mebengo, who is now in jail, the last time I saw him and spoke to him very briefly was in 2018 when I went to Cameroon before the election for my grandmother's funeral. Um, he is somebody I have never seen eye to eye, to be honest with you, because of how the
Sandy, something is happening to your microphone. Is like up and then suddenly it goes down. Maybe you get it, if you can get it closer to you, maybe.
all right.
Okay.
Is the sound better now?
Yes, it's a little better there. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. So yes, I was saying I have no dealings with that individual. Um, Even as a family member, we never seen eye to eye, simply because I was a victim of tribal discrimination. Because originally my father is from West Cameroon, and the people from South Cameroon don't like West Cameroon people. So I have been here, my brothers, victim of this discrimination from a very early stage in my life. Hence, I am fighting today to end that and make all Cameroonians equal under the law and in treatment.
Okay. Now, this war has been going on now for almost 6 years. October will make it 6 years. And at the same time, there was a Francophone consciousness that emerged with a period in which most of you Francophones were carrying out protest rallies in France, in Swiss. Then the bars emerged to fight against the regime in Yaoundé. Where were you at that time? Were you part of the bars?
Of course, I have joined the French Revolution since 2018. So I was sitting in my house and I saw how the regime stole the elections. And this reminded me of the fight my father was the member of Social Democratic Front, SDS, when John Fundi was the chairman. And this reminded me of the pain we had to go through at that time when the elections were stolen. And I said to myself, this is not going to happen under my watch. So I went out in 2018 when the protest started in France. Actually, I joined in the UK under the leadership of Caporal Center, who took my hand and led me into the struggle. And yes, we were very much at the forefront of the fight. And you remember in 2019, 27th of June 2019, when the dictator came to Geneva, I think I was, well, I don't want to boast about it, but
I don't know what is happening to your microphone. It gets, not that it is low, but it gets distorted. It is not low, it just gets distorted.
I don't know.
That is good. Now it sounds good now. All right,
okay.
Go on.
So yes, in 2019, we were at the forefront of the struggle to chase the dictator into at the Intercontinental Hotel, and I think everyone remembers me taking the water cannon and the gas. It was an almighty fight, and the Swiss police had to bring all all the forces out, and the neighboring countries had to help them. We basically waged war in the middle of Geneva, and we won. We had him return to Cameroon. So yes, and since then I have been at the forefront of the struggle, traveling across the USA, France, Europe, and going everywhere to chase all these people, asking them to leave leave Europe, and we want them ultimately to leave the power and to free Ambazonia and to let Cameroon be ruled by the people who have chosen. So that's my fight today, and that's why I wake up. That's what drives me. That's why I wake up every day. I wake up every day in the hope that one day those people have less power, and there is a free Cameroon and there is a free Ambazonia.
So tell me, which one are you really fighting for, a free Cameroon or a free Ambazonia?
Well, as you all know, I believe the Ambazonia struggle began because the people from Ambazonia felt that they were not free to choose their own faith. They didn't have the freedom to choose how the education would be led, how the justice system would be led, and so on and so forth. So it's the same feeling that people living in French Cameroon have. People living in French Cameroon have the feeling that Yaoundé decides for everything. Yaoundé rules for everything. Yaoundé is basically the center of everything. And people are not free to express themselves. People are not free to choose their leaders. People are not free to go about their own business. As you know, there have been since 2018 more than 1,000 political prisoners in Cameroon, in French Cameroon, not counting the thousands of Anglophone prisoners that were kidnapped in the land in both Yaoundé. And this is why we are fighting. We are fighting so that the brutal regime of Yaoundé is brought down, and our people will have the freedom to decide how to want to conduct their life in a free country.
All right, wonderful. So, somebody who talked about you to me said you would prefer Ambazonian citizenship to La République du Cameroon citizenship. What do you think Ambazonian citizenship would be better for you than French Cameroon citizenship?
Well, having lived in the UK for more than 16 years, I now have the culture of English-speaking people, and I
Yes.
know that English-speaking people are very straight to the point. English-speaking people are very true to themselves, and they are moreover, they are very fair. There is a sense of fairness when you live an English-speaking culture. So, having said that, when we look at how both sides of Cameroon are directed, are led, you can see even just by behavior, just by how people approach their own destiny, you can see a sense of responsibility, a sense of belonging, a sense of pride in the Ambazonian people. And that's why I respect Ambazonia so much, because they have a sense of pride, belonging, and togetherness. This is very much lacking on the French side of Cameroon, where this regime has nurtured a culture of individuality, of everyone mind their own business. And that's why you see people tend not to worry about what happens to their neighbor in French Cameroon. They have seen lots of things happening, people being killed, people being arrested. No one has the will, or no, I wouldn't say no one is not fair, because there are some people who are fighting, but I would say the majority of people seem not to be caring for what's going on in the country. So this is why I would say I would prefer to live in Ambazonia. I would prefer to be an Ambazonian girl. And I can promise you, if I was in the ground, I would be on the battlefield, holding those guns and fighting with everything that I have in my belly to because this is who I am. So yes, I really love the people of Ambazonia.
So when you hear Ambazonians, people like us saying that we want all Francophones out of Ambazonia, do you think we have a good reason for saying so, for making those demands?
To be fair with you, to be true with you, it was very painful when I heard that. It was absolutely painful because I thought to myself, this is not fair. Not all French speaking people are against the freedom of Ambazonia, and not all of them would go and betray the struggle on the ground. But then, even having said that, I don't have all the facts. I don't know exactly what is going on ground zero. There is probably an explanation or a reason for that. I wouldn't be able to say. But all I can say is that not all French speaking people are against the Ambazonian struggle. Not all French speaking people would like to see this regime carry on. So I would say, yes, it's a sense of it's a protectionism. However, I would say, please can you um, see exactly those people who are enabling the army to come and keep people on the ground and get rid of those people, that those who are actually, they have been Francophones living there for generations, living there for years and years, it would be very unfair to just say all Francophones are not welcome because those people, that's now where they belong. Same as in the Benelux years, there were some Bamileke that ran away from the West region because the French were bombarding West Cameroon, and they went down to Mungo, for Sam and Kimba, for example, and settled there. So it is very unfair to say just because they are Bamileke, they don't belong there. I think it's a very complex situation and a very complex question. I do understand where this comes from, but again, it would be very unfair to those people who have settled there for so many years and don't live any other place where they will call home.
Wonderful. You mentioned that it is not all Francophones who are against Ambazonia. If I may ask you, I don't know, I mean, you are out there, a strong activist on the streets, talking to people, talking to different Francophones. Do Francophones understand that Ambazonians do not consider them as brothers, as they would want to call it? Do they understand Ambazonians do not consider them brothers? The reason being that if indeed they were brothers, they would rise up, not in the diaspora, on the ground, and protest and say, hey, those our brothers in Anglophones, as they call it, you cannot be killing them like that. But for 5 years, going to 6 years, no Francophones have rose up in any city, any town in that part of the country to protest the killings in Ambazonia. Why is that not going on?
And this is a very sad situation. Your question and your concerns are ones I have heard from many, if not all, Ambazonian activists that I have met in the diaspora. Some of them with very strong feelings about this question than others. And it's right to feel that way because this Amazonian struggle has been going on for so long. There have been so many things that you would expect people in Cameroon to rise against it. That's why we have been going across Europe and protesting everywhere to
Sandy, I don't know your volume. It is high enough but distorted, making it really uneasy to sometimes get what you are trying to say. All right, continue. Let's see if it is better.
I honestly don't know.
It sounds
if it's
right
my,
good now. What you speak, it sounds right good there. But
yeah.
as you continue speaking, it just get distorted. But go on, let's see.
So yes, I was saying that all the activists, Ambazonian activists I have met in the US, in Europe, have the same feeling. They have the feeling that Francophones have let them down. They have the feeling that Francophones don't care about what's going on in Ambazonia. And I honestly do understand where they're coming from, but anyone would expect the people to rise up, to stand up against the war that has been going on for so many years now in Ambazonia. And this is the problem we ourselves are facing, fighting the regime. I promise you, Mr. Secretary Kisanu, that it's the Francophones that are fighting us more than anyone else. So at some point, people are asking us what's the point of the struggle, because most people, they don't care about anything. They don't want to rise up. They don't want to protest against war in Ambazonia. We have even gone as far as boycotting all the artists in the diaspora to make them. Artists, people who have a voice about what's going on in Ambazonia, they're not only asking them. We are not asking them to make politics. We are asking them to say this war has to stop. And I personally have to be very violent, extremely violent against people who have a voice in Cameroon and refuse.
Sandy,
To denounce that war.
all right, Sandy, please. What you were saying is really important, but again, the audio is a problem. We will take a short break. You log out and log back in with the same password that was given you. Let's see if we get the audio better. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Would you like to make a six-figure income? Well, you have come to the right place. At Venbati LLC, we can make your dream come true by training you to become a professional Scrum Master in just 6 short weeks. You heard me right, just 6 weeks. This may be the biggest life-changing decisions you will ever make. They say luck is when opportunity meets preparation. If you were walking down the street and opportunity walked past you, would you recognize it? Well, here is an opportunity you won't want to miss. At Venbati LLC, our world-class trainers would prepare you for one of the best career changes you will ever make. And then you can consider yourself lucky when you make that 6-figure income and laugh your way to the bank. If you are that person who can recognize an opportunity, call us at 240-701-7796. Check out our website, www.venbati.com. We have limited spaces. First come, first serve. Come one, come all.
Are you a church or ministry leader? Imagine broadcasting your own ministry show or program on TV for just $1,000 for a full year. 1 hour every weekend. That's only $83 a month. That's $20 per show. That's the opportunity ABS TV is offering every ministry or pastors. These slots won't last long. Secure your spot before they run out. Or maybe you just want your conference covered live. Well, we can do that too. ABS TV is reaching millions of homes in Africa by satellite and other millions in Europe and America through Roku TV. You can contact us at 832-387-1460 and by email at info@absafricatv.com.
Would you like to make a 6-figure income? Well, you have come to the right place. At Venbati LLC, we can make your dream come true by training you to become a professional Scrum Master in just 6 short weeks. You heard me right, just 6 weeks. This may be the biggest life-changing decisions you will ever make. They say luck is when opportunity meets preparation. If you were walking down the street and opportunity walked past you, would you recognize it? Well, here is an opportunity you won't want to miss. At Venbati LLC, our world-class trainers would prepare you for one of the best career changes you will ever make. And then you can consider yourself lucky when you make that six-figure income and laugh your way to the bank. If you are that person who can recognize an opportunity, call us at 240-701-7796. Check out our website, www.venbati.com. We have limited spaces. First come, first serve. Come one, come all.
Mama delegate best A1. Mama, this one a true story. Molindo Maurice, taximan, Limbe. Na iya Gladys Molindo. Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae.
Marare maiko e. Mama na e. Mama ruka e.
Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae.
Ekodo marare maiko e. Mama na e. Mama ruka e.
Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae.
Tata is so David, na iya is so Juliana. No so minya e. Omori Emmanuel. Pastor Etiti Benedict, director of the Valley Bible School Mangabalon. Na iya Etiti Marie, Obasana misenye.
Eni boke tumbi marare o basongwene bae. Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae. Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae.
Ekono marare maiko e. Mama na o. Mama ruka e.
Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae.
Ekono marare maiko e. Mama na e. Mama ruka e.
Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae.
Pastor Agia Mendel, na iya Agia Keti, Right Land Christian Orphanage Otutu. Masoma e. Oh. Marane o Lady Keto, marane o Murenga bae, o mamori ndutue mbusa momana e, etari ramoni o manongi marare o. Marane o Lady Keto, marane o Murenga bae, o mamori ndutue mbusa momana e, etari ramoni o manongi marare o. Pastor Elangwe Esoe, na iya Elangwe Mado, moto ananyonga omasi kutangea, obasalo banene asotangea nye. Marare maiko e, mama nao, mama ruka e,
Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae.
marare maiko e, mama na e, mama ruka e,
Mole mamba motumbi marare o basongwene bae.
Olikakudian, the best motor engineer, Newtown Limbe. Parana e,
Anjanete o.
Parana e,
Anjanete o.
Beya kanyo mandiko lina rabana ibanyu. Eya benga ya beo,
Omonyere wane.
Itari ramoni
Osiko tongo marare.
Parana o,
Anjanete o.
Parana o,
Anjanete o.
Beya kanyo mandiko lina
Olina
rabana
bana ibanyu.
Eya benga ya beo,
Omonyere wane.
Itari ramoni
Osiko tongo marare. Minya magi matingeleko. Dedicate abula ningomo eboka. Eba. E asungomo. Aya baba. Atinga babe. Motakatero. E asungomo. Baswagapi. Na badoraj. Iya Trophy, Babebe Clementine, na Babeti Julio, Motakadele, l'étiquette Abulani Ngomoyoka, Helakani, Obeturi.
Bera boy, le businessman de Brazil.
Imale de Keto, Sekotongo Morare, Ondoje Buruka, Ekone Yoko, na Broda Jabe, Sikotongo Morare. Kijamana solo, Nakwida Motumbu, Mesa Gita Hala Kankai Hala. Mon ami Nyambigi Prosper, le meilleur coiffeur. Sikotonga marare, Lady Keto, Sikotonga marare, Unaboda Buruka, Ekone Yoko, Minyamajo Matingaleko.
Comment ça? Yayo, ajajo, comment? Obasewo, nami se l'étiquette. Non, nami se moye. Asikotongo marare. Osikotongo marare. Mama osikotongo marare. Bana babo kabobaso. Jump up. 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 Osikotongo marare. Mama osikotongo marare. Medike osikotongo marare. Isimo. Giovanni si ongwene mediketo. Baba ongwene moye. Osikotongo marare. Imo sikotongo marare. Osikotongo marare. Yesimo. Esino. Sino. Mama moka egeye. Esino bless already. Comment ça? Jajo. 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 Balababu kera kanira 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 kani. Como so? Jobo. 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 Swakani como. Musikotongo marare. Mama sikotongo.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Sandy is back with me on set. I want to believe we have a better sound now coming from her. Sandy, let's hear from you. I hope the sound is quite good now. Good to see you back.
Hear me now.
All right. As you know, I was asking you a question about whether you understand the reason why Ambazonians are very upset with Francophones. This war has been going on for close to 6 years, and not at any occasion have Francophones taken to the street to protest the killings, the barbarism, the destruction that French Cameroon troops have carried out in Ambazonia. Do you think Ambazonians are justified in saying, no, we don't consider Francophones as our brothers or sisters?
I do completely understand and completely empathize with that feeling. It's the feeling of being let down. It's the feeling of being abandoned by people living just across the river Mungo, who seem not to be caring about what's going on not far from where they live. It is very justified. However, I would say that these are the people on the ground in Cameroon, in French Cameroon, that seem not to be relating to what's going on the other side of the river. If you look at the Cameroonians in the diaspora, you will see a different story. You will see that we went out every time there was a massacre in northwest, in Ambazonia, I would say. For the Ngabu massacre, I personally nearly lost my life in London. I tried to set myself ablaze to raise awareness about what was going on in Cameroon. I don't know if you are aware of that, or if any
I
of the
think
people that are
I
watching.
yes, I think I heard of about that incident, but I didn't know who it was, and I didn't know it was about Ngaribu incident.
It was the Gabu on the 15th of February 2000 and I think it was 2021. So we went to protest at the Cameroon embassy about the killings. As soon as we heard that, the next day in the morning, we were all at the embassy to protest, and I nearly set myself ablaze. If it wasn't for the swiftness of the British police, I wouldn't be with you today. Regarding the killings of Kumba, we actually went with some of my ladies, Bobita Napua, on this show now. We went to the Cameroon embassy in Geneva, and we had a big, massive protest there to raise awareness about those kids being killed. We brought some dolls, some flowers, some candles. And as you know, I have been across Europe everywhere. I have been in Germany with some of the Ambazonian activists as well, to protest and raise awareness about the killings in Ambazonia. So the picture is it's a mixed picture. People in French Cameroon on the ground seem not to be reacting to what is going on in Ambazonia. However, activists on the other side in Europe and in the diaspora have raised a lot of awareness about what's going on in Ambazonia. We have been to the European Union, we have been to the United Nations, we have put a complaint, and a formal complaint, against the Biya regime at the Human Rights Commission of the UN here in Geneva. We have been on the ground and on the diplomatic front to raise awareness, but also to get some sanctions applied to the regime. So yes, I do understand, and this is what we are facing ourselves now in Cameroon. We are fighting so that the regime will leave. We are fighting so that our people will be free. But people right in Cameroon, in Douala at the moment, in Yaoundé, everywhere, they seem not to be caring about our fight. They seem not to be caring about our struggle. They had the AFCON, they were dancing and celebrating, but we were actually trying to boycott the AFCON.
If the regime in Cameroon leaves, let's say Paul Biya leaves or Paul Biya dies, and there is a new regime in Yaoundé, would you still support a free and independent Southern Cameroon?
Absolutely. It's not about the regime change. Besides, a regime change in Cameroon is not going to, well, just a straight death or Biya, or regime change, say one of his ministers or somebody from his circle takes power, will not resolve the problems that we have actually in Cameroon. So it's not just about the regime change, it's about a deep change of this country. We want a complete change of the system. We want the system that has ruined our country for more than 40 years to be swept away. That's what we want. That's what we are fighting for. But having said that, personally, and I speak for myself, I must stress that today I am speaking for myself and not for any political parties or not any other activists. I myself believe in independent Ambazonia. Why do I believe in independent Ambazonia? Because the people of Ambazonia have paid the tribute, they have paid the price for that independence. We cannot ignore the tens of thousands of dead in this war. We cannot ignore the pain, the anger that this war has created. We cannot ignore the sacrifice that the people of Ambazonia have done to gain the freedom. And we cannot ignore what they want. Why is it that in the first place they stood up and said, we don't want to be part of La République anymore? We cannot ignore that. So for all these reasons, personally, I would be satisfied if that struggle, if that fight, if those sacrifices were rewarded with a free Ambazonia.
So, thank you. It's great to hear that from you. So, you made a point that lots of you activists in the diaspora, you've carried out protests, rallies in Geneva, in France, in London, and we saw most of those protest rallies, especially during the election, the Camto election protest. How come the protest for Camto's election fraud, it resonated on the ground? You actually saw protests on the ground in Douala, in Bafoussam, in Yaoundé, but the same protests that you people have carried out in the diaspora supporting the Ambazonian cause has not resonated with the same population in Bafoussam, in Douala, in Yaoundé. Why do you think that is happening?
Well, the reason is very simple. It's because the protest for the fraud, the electoral fraud, was led by a political party that is implemented in Cameroon. It was led by a party that has its member. And don't forget, because of this brutal repression in Cameroon, people, before going out and taking out on the street, wanted to have a leader on the ground. And the leader on the ground for the protest at that time was Maurice Kamto, who would call for the people to come out to protest. And let's be clear, the protest was not only for the elections. I believe in 2020, in September, there are more than 100 of people, of militants of the CRM who are in jail now. They were asking for the end of war in Ambazonia. So yes, the main reason, the main protest at the peak of contestation was about the elections. But after that, it was about ending war in Ambazonia and also reforming the electoral system. So those people who are in jail now, they are in jail because they were asking for the end of the war in Ambazonia. But yes, this is where we are failing, because we don't have, as activists, a leader on the ground in Cameroon. The political parties have leaders on the ground, but we are based in diaspora, and that's a failure from ourselves. We have failed in all those years to have a proper leader on the ground. But I can also justify that by the fact the regime will not tolerate anyone coming on the ground in Cameroon and saying to people, we want you to raise up because of this. You have seen what happens to anyone who tries to speak up against the regime, from journalists to activists to human rights militants and everyone. They are all systematically being arrested, kidnapped, killed, and they all disappear under the regime of Mr. Biya. So that's the difficulty we have. People are more inclined to follow the leader on the ground, who's Maurice Kamto in Cameroon, because it gives them a sense of security. It gives them a sense of, if something happens to them, it would be on the media. Whereas us, we don't have a leader on the ground in Cameroon. And that's why our struggle, we haven't been able to take it from diaspora into the ground in Cameroon.
So, what do you make? What do you make of the fact that the person we should call the leader of the opposition, Kamto, that you are referring to, the person whom people were rallying around, did not even support the Ambazonian struggle, the Ambazonian people. In fact, Kamto was in a conference in Canada. Ambazonians went there in their numbers, and they will not, Kamto will not allow Ambazonians to enter the conference hall with an Ambazonian flag. So, when you supported Kamto, Kamto will not support Ambazonia. What do you make of that? Because it appears, just as you have said, we know it is not about leadership change in Cameroon, but if Kamto had taken over, there will not be any difference, correct?
Well, I am not sure about that, and I am not the right person to talk about his policy because simply because I'm not a member of his party. What happened in Canada, I would not be able to say exactly, but I know that Mr. Kamto has always spoken about federalism. He has always spoken about bringing peace to the country and bringing everyone together to discuss. In terms
I'm sure,
of
of course, you
Ambazonia
understand
itself,
there is a difference between federalism and independence, isn't it?
absolutely, I do understand this matter because even in our struggle, I am one of the people that lots of people don't agree with because I say up clearly and loudly that I will be happy with a new Republic of Ambazonia, and I am aware of that. A lot of people who work with me do not agree with me on that. So yeah, I do understand that there's a big difference between federalism and separation. What I would say and what I have always advocated is that it's not for us, the Francophones, to decide what will be the fate of the Anglophone. We have done that for so many years since independence. So I personally would advocate for an Anglophone only referendum. Who would decide? That would decide what the people from Northwest and Southwest Cameroon, now called Ambazonia, want to do. If they want to go, let them go. And that's what I have always advocated
and you will
for.
go with them.
And I will very, very proudly do so. Don't want to say that in my youth I was very much in love with an Abakwa boy. Unfortunately, life separated us.
All right. Now, let us talk a little bit about support for Ambazonia from the Francophone side. I am talking about financial support now, financial support. Do you think there are Francophones like you who say, I would prefer Ambazonian passport to French Cameroon passport, who would like to put money on the table to support the struggle in Ambazonia? Do you think some of them exist?
Of course they do. Of course they do. It's true that most will not come out clearly and openly to say so, but I know that there are a few of us, a few people who think like me, who think that the people of Ambazonia have paid a very heavy tribute, have paid a heavy price, and deserve to have the freedom. But we have seen here in the diaspora, we have organized lots of money collections to help basically the refugees, people on the ground with their humanitarian needs. People have done that and will do that. I know a lot of people who support prisoners, Ambazonian prisoners in the jails of the dictator. I myself am one of those. So yes, there are some people who are ready to support the Ambazonian struggle and who are already doing that. So although they are probably a minority, but there are some out there.
Thank you. What do you think of, I mean, you mentioned a number of people high placed over there in Yaoundé. Who were your relations? You mentioned Mebe Ngo. Mebe Ngo is in jail now, right?
He is.
Is he the one who was caught with a room full of CFA francs? Was he the one?
That's the one. That's the one. And this shows you how selfish, how evil, how greedy those people are.
I mean, I saw a room packed with CFA francs, not like in the box. I mean, just dumped on the floor, and they attempted to burn a portion of it. but they couldn't, and some was packed in bags. So tell me also again, how are you related to him?
Well, this is something I had to disclose when I started the struggle, because I knew if I didn't disclose that, they would accuse me of being a traitor when they would find it. So at the very beginning of our struggle, I came forward and I said to my fellow fighters, listen, I have family in the system, but those people, because of the injustice that I have lived of my life, uh, I I want to fight them, and I
I
will
don't
fight them
understand
with
when you
everything.
say the injustice you live all your life. I mean, you live very close to very powerful, rich people like Mebengo.
Being member of a family does not mean that you always benefit from whatever they have. You know that these people in power are very selfish. I live a very poor. I'm from a very poor background, and I live a very poor life. My father was a transporter between Douala and Yaoundé. He was driving uh, a car. How do you call that? Um, car de transport.
A
He was
boss.
driving exactly a bus between Douala and Yaoundé. My mother was Bayam Selam, and lately she worked in PMUC.
I mean,
So I grew up
hold
in
on there. Let me
poverty.
get this story right. But you were related to Mebengo, isn't it?
That's
On the
correct.
side of your father or your mom.
My mother.
So how come you suggest that you grew from a humble background? Does it mean that there was no relationship between Mebengo and your family or your mom to the extent that you could, help your mom?
This is very sad, and I know that is unbelievable to some, but that's the story of all those people who are in power. If you look at the south region in Cameroon, is one of the poorest in Cameroon, and that's the region that has everyone in a position in government. So those people, they're there to help themselves and eat and make themselves rich. They don't care about their region, their families, their brothers, their sisters, and it's a very sad situation. But the Bulu are one of the most deprived people in Cameroon. It's the truth. It's the sad situation. There's no university in South Cameroon. There are no roads. There's no industry. There's nothing, but yet they are ruling, and they have been on power for 40 years. All the ministers, all the police, all the big civil servants are from that region. So the sad story is that those people are very selfish. Those people are evil. They don't care about people around them, let alone the white Cameroon people. They don't care, and that's why this country is in a situation where it is. Yes, I am not ashamed to say, unfortunately, this one of these evil people happened to be blood related to me, but I have not benefited a single penny from that. I wouldn't be here in the UK working long 13 hours shifts, 7 days, five
If
days
you
a
if
week.
you had your
You
own
know
share of
yourself.
that money in that room, right?
No, from the education I had received, my father told me to deserve what I have. I have always worked hard in my life. I have always earned every single penny that I have.
All right, let's talk about the transition that everybody is talking about in La République du Cameroon. Coming up in Yaoundé, they talks about French beer taking over power. We have heard again and again and again that when beer is no more, there will be commotion in Yaoundé. We hear about the Nordists being interested in power, the Ewondos, the Boulous, the Betis, another bloc interested in power, the Bamilekis, another bloc interested in power. What are you hearing out there from among Francophone activists?
Well, most of us activists, first of all, is very sad that the power in Cameroon talk about in terms of tribe. It shouldn't be like that. It should be who is the most qualified to rule the country, who is the best person to take power, not about they are from north or south or west or whatever. So it's a very sad situation, and this is one of the things we want to change. We want to change the tribalization of power. Second of all, we are aware of that. There are some commotions in Cameroon of people getting ready to spring up when Mr. Biya dies, if he dies, and when he dies. We know that they are talking about his son getting ready to take over, but we also know from what we hear is that there are a lot of opposition among themselves. So the ruling party and the ruling tribe and the ruling people are not, they are not
In agreement.
accordance, in agreement as to who will succeed to Mr. Biya. And people were saying that Mr. Macron was there to take Mr. Biya's successor, and so I don't believe in that. I believe that there is it's open, it's out there, it's open.
But
I believe that.
I mean, do you, the activists, the Francophone activists, see a civil war breaking out in the Cameroon if they try to impose Frank Biya or anybody else without election?
I do believe that there will be trouble, but the trouble is most likely to come from the ruling party, because they have the money, they have the guns, they have the power. So they are the ones that will rage war if they don't agree on who is chosen. But we know for a fact that if France or any other person try to impose one person that is not popular, there will be trouble in Cameroon. We don't want that to happen. That's why we would like the electoral system to be reviewed, to be changed, and we would like some frank, open, and clear elections to happen. But we know that with the BS regime, this is almost impossible because they are clinging on to power. So the next following years will be very interesting in terms of who is coming up and what will be the dynamics in that direction. But we know that if the ruling party tries to play a trick and put someone there that is not popular, there will be trouble in Cameroon.
Well, let's hope that the trouble happens in the French Cameroon. In Ambazonia, they already have their own trouble. The trouble is that of taking back their country from the hands of French Cameroon. Do French Cameroon leaders try reaching out to some of you activists who are in the front line? People like you, have any of them try to corner you to say, hey, Sandy, listen, let's talk. We can have any of them tried reaching out to you? I know Remy Ngono is out there. Patrice is it Moma is out there, and so on. People like you, have they been trying to reach out to you guys to say, hey, calm down, we are in control, we are trying to fix things? Have that happen?
No, not at all. Not at all. None of them has tried to reach out. The only political leader that came here and had I would say not a meeting but a conference was Mr. Ninche from SEF. But no, they don't want to be stigmatized because we have been branded as in Cameroon as terrorists. I myself, I know that if I put my foot in Cameroon, I know what will be my fate. So they are calling us terrorists in Cameroon. So all of them are trying to keep a clean image, and none of them has approached us to.
I was talking to like some of you government ministers who have been sent by the government to placate you people to stay low, to or make promises. Has that happened?
Not to me personally. I don't know about other people, but I know that there are a lot of maneuvers on underneath, under the radar to discourage and to remove some of us from the struggle. No, me personally, no one has approached me. The reason being that my position is clear, and there is no compromise in my struggle. I am here to fight for free Cameroon, and nothing will make me budge from that position. I am not hungry. I'm a senior nurse, a ward sister in the UK. So I have a little bit of means to live with. And my fight is directed by my convictions, by my experience, and my ideals, what I would like to see happening in Cameroon. And there is no negotiation on that. I am really sorry. I can't budge from that position. Plus, I am the only one that probably says openly that they want a free Ambazonia, and people on the regime don't like that. So no.
Wonderful. Cindy, you stay in there. I'm going to open the phone lines. I know lots of people would like to ask you questions. So please stay put in there. Let me open the phone lines, and let's take some questions from the listeners. Ladies and gentlemen, I will open the phone lines. So you can go ahead and call. You can talk about any of the issues that we are discussing here. You have a question for Sandy, go ahead and ask that question. Again, the phone line is open. You can go ahead and call. All right, let's get to this first caller from Ground Zero. Hello.
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 Yes, hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Mesa.
Okay, and what is in your mind? You have a question?
I don't have a question directly to the guest this evening, but concerning what you spoke about collaboration from the beginning.
Yes.
Can I go ahead to maybe please share my own view and the feelings of the people on the ground?
Go ahead, and then you ask your question.
Normally,
you have 1 minute.
You were saying that this man has reached out to you people.
Hold on, please. Hold on. You have 1 minute so that we can give the opportunity for others to call. Go on.
It's okay. Yeah, I say, you know that the people on the ground, they are yearning to see you people speak in one voice, to talk as one people, so that will put some order on the ground. So we are waiting to see when all of you can, whether whoever is calling for the unity, you people should be united, agree on where you people can agree, and see where you people made mistakes in the past, so that those of us on the ground, we can have some sanity. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for that. You wanted to ask a question too to the guest?
No.
All right.
If I want to ask, I may ask that if there is a referendum, what will she vote for? For a total independence Ambazonia, or she will vote for something else?
Well, she will not be qualified to vote because she is not Ambazonian, right? You heard her say that a referendum for Ambazonians only, and I think that was a good articulation. She is not qualified to vote. She will be an Ambazonian by naturalization.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Let me just say this for the unity thing that you're talking about. Listen, I am a strong advocate for unity and collaboration. However, when you go to marry a woman, you make sure that you can live with that woman, right?
Yeah, you're right.
If you can't live with that woman, you marry that woman, you reach for her house. The woman saying, "Are you with a cook?" What did you go do? So, but what I'm saying is just as the Bible says, the two must agree. If there is no agreement, there is no way it can work. So like-minded people will come together, form an alliance that that works on the ground. All right, thank you. All right, let's get to the next caller here. I see the phones are ringing. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Calling from this is calling from Abakwa because I think I know your number.
Yes, from Abakwa. That's right. Good evening to you. Good evening to the guests.
Thank you. Thank you.
My contribution is this. You see, I am very, very pleased, elated to be a Francophone like Mrs. Boston. Because I'm in ground zero. I've mixed with Francophones. And taking the case, and I cannot lie to you. My conviction is that Francophones are not human. They are not. When the thing started, I was convinced that Francophones, given what those old Rosicrucian people had done to the country, they would join forces with us, get rid of them, and then start a new country. But I was very, very astonished, like other Ambazonians, that these people, all Francophones, will do exactly what Bia and those other Rosicrucians are doing. They are here waiting. Francophones are spies here. They are informants here. They are traitors, blacklegs, enablers here. Ambazonia. They give information to the soldiers to attack Francophones. And they live in this dream, this childish dream that Amazonia will be destroyed, so that one day they will inherit our land. I cannot lie to you that if I was the president of Amazonia, no Francophone will be living in Amazonia. No, none of them, even those that are married, intermarried here, I will have all of them deleted. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what will happen one day, except to people like Mrs. Boston. So that is
Are you
the
saying,
situation.
are you saying including people like Miss Boston or except people like Miss Boston?
Except people like her.
Okay.
I'm very, very surprised and pleased that if some Francophones have a human like her, because the rest of other Francophones, I know they are demonic. They are demonic. The things their soldiers come here and do, and these people pretend they don't see, is something that only demons can exhibit. So the battle line is strong. We will never live with Francophones. Francophones will never live in Amazonia. That one is clear. That is clear. They should be ready to go to their country.
All right.
Once this thing is
Thank you. Thank you. Let me allow Miss Sandy to do a little response there. Sandy, can you understand the anger in these people? These are people calling from ground zero. They live with Francophones on ground zero. They are neighbors together, and they turn around and they betray them and they sell them. He gives exception to people like you. In fact, he is surprised that there are people like you out there. But do you understand the anger?
It's it's very understandable. Anyone who have seen their family killed, their neighborhood destroyed, their villages burned, anyone who has seen such violence, anyone who has seen what is happening in Ambazonia will have that anger. And I completely understand. Who am I to say to people how they should feel? Because the horror stories that are happening out there, they never wanted this to happen. Children traumatized, children seeing dead bodies on a daily basis, people seeing their villages destroyed, women raped, elderly people killed, people burned. Of course I do understand. If I myself tried to kill myself when I saw those pictures of Ngabu, disabled people being burned, pregnant women being killed, I don't even know where they get the courage to carry on every single day. And I know that forgiveness will be very, very difficult because of the inaction on the other side of the Mungo. it will be very, very, very difficult. And I don't know if it's going to take one generation or two generations.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you. Let's get back to the phone. Let me get this caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Kongsamba.
From Kongsamba in La République du Cameroon. Okay. What is your contribution, sir?
Mr. Cristiano, thank you for the moment that you give to me.
Thank you.
I'm very glad. So I want to tell in pidgin, Mr. Cristiano, welcome. I thank you for the way you project this struggle. So the way you madam talk, I'll be very happy. But I'd like if you produce me about 3 big sticks, that means I will look and see get the airport or join the Ambazonia very well. Because if you talk and we make the mind for do the thing, we do inside Ganzoro will be sure. I didn't also like for Kongsamba because I remember my patrol. Because see some few things. So I like and say, go buy me some big sticks and if you send me big sticks, then I will stand into that, you get the courage and you get the heart, you get the feeling.
All right, hold on there. Sandy, did you hear what he said?
Not clearly.
He said he loves your passion for Ambazonia very much and he appreciates you. However, it is easy to talk. They need 3 big sticks. You know what big sticks are?
Groundnuts.
No, not groundnuts, sticks. All right, leave it
there.
The
stick. All right, yeah. Okay.
I'm sure you know it, but we're not going to talk about that here. We will talk behind.
Right.
But thank you, caller. Let's get to the next caller here, please. Thank you. We'll get you. Okay. The phone line is open, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get.
May I just say?
I'm sorry?
May I just say that
yes.
I called a few years ago for women, Francophone women and women from Ambazonia to come together and lead a protest so that we will call for the end of the war. I strongly believe that if this happens, this will be the beginning of something where people on the ground on the other side of the Mungo will realize that we have to stand up. We are one people. We are sharing the same pain, and that's why I created the Bobitanap. Bobitanap was just to unite all women, all mothers, to cry together, to call for the end of the war, the end of the bloodshed. And I still believe that if this happens, and I am one of those who have worked with Ambazonian activists, Nalova B, Kingsley Bong, and so on and so forth. So I still believe that if the door starts to open, we can lead that fight together and raise awareness and hopefully get people to raise on the ground.
All right, hold on there. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Yes, okay. I get question. I call for Ground Zero precisely for Abakwa.
Okay.
Yes, I guess so. One question we ask for that our sister for West Mongo. Our ask is say, if you already talk from sincerely from their heart, we get a problem for here we Francophone brothers we will look and we trust and love them, but not the truth they show our brother they kill them. So me, I for one of the things say we will not be fair with them. We will not go be fair with them for one reason. The way we Francophone brother they come off for that side can't kill we for this side. We will see execute law for this for 5 years. Would even come on go make way to go make up for that side. He not even be able to wound them, but would still sorry them for do all those things. But the day here inside us here, the point we made the kill we. So me at the instance talk the one and for we now say me all Ambazonia they know say we will never stay here start take this war serious. Until we go take this war serious, then they go know say true with the effects. Me, I dey talk with the open born. Minutes no will come for house. Can't ask my own small brother and say, make them show Amber where they no say that picking no be Amber, they did beat that, so they kill him. Me, I go turn now, me, I go for that side too, for even go do another do. I say, no, my Jamaica, so I made them fear. But to be very honest, we get for start target their interest. If we not target these people, their interest, they will never do only take it in like we play na play. We go like we'll live inside the war for the next 30 years. If we continue with the same method, we go for inflict pain for them too. I'm not deny what my brother talk for there. I get a female general, they try to the support, but I go only tell me the support with money, not for with mouth. Because which they feel talk for their mouth, not be which they for their heart.
Okay.
So we talk with a lot of people. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, Sandy. I'm sure you heard him right.
I did hear him.
Just like the previous caller, he says they need you and your group to rally others around, support them materially. Again, we will talk that one maybe behind the show, not on television.
Absolutely, and I do understand where this is coming from. The British say, "Put your money where your mouth is." That's what they say. But yeah, absolutely. Actions speak louder than words. And you remember in 2021, all the actions we had done to bring our help to the displaced. We have worked with the Aya Foundation on many occasions where we had collected lots of material and money to help the people on the ground. So we are not just talking, we are doing what we can at our level to support the people on the ground. No sound, Mr. Secretary, no sound. No sound, Mr. Secretary, no sound.
Oh, sorry. Again, you're calling from Tico. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Your sound is not good, sir. I have to go to the next caller. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Greetings, Secretary.
Greetings, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Meme County.
Okay, Cape Town. All right. And what is your contribution?
Yeah, I want to ask the lady if she believes on Ambazonia or the Nunso. They used to call us, they address us Nunso, something like that. So did she believe on the Nunso or the Ambazonia?
I think she has answered that question by saying she stands for a free and independent Ambazonia.
She usually carry her protests and address us Nunso. I've never heard her address us during her protest as Ambazonia.
Okay, let me allow her to answer. Sandy, did you get a question?
And I do understand that it's a question of identity, and I do respect the identity that you have today as Ambazonian citizens. Maybe unconsciously use the Nozo terminology, but this is simply because this is what the wider French public knows. But yes, I will try to correct that in the future. But I have referred on many occasions as Ambazonia. If you are on my Facebook page, you will see that I do address the region of Ambazonia as a territory of Ambazonia, not as a Nozo or Northwest Sudwest. So yeah, I do respect and appreciate your identity.
All right. Do you talk with Patrice in Ghana?
Not at all.
Okay. Let me read some uh, messages here coming from this one is coming from diaspora. Strongly for your information, Sandy Boston, nice to former minister or niece to former minister of armed forces Mebe Ngo. She's a strong supporter of Kamto and for one Cameroon. She is a snake and good friends of Eric Tato, Irene Gua, UN, and Great Sako. Stay away from her. What do you say to comments like this, Sandy? I don't want to defend them. I know what you have said here, but I don't want to be speaking on your behalf.
Absolutely, and I do appreciate that. It's not easy to be in the public eye and pour your heart out and be who you are. You will always have criticism and opposition. So the people always try to associate my name to that of my uncle Mebengo, even though I am the one who disclosed that relationship, and even though I have nothing to do with him in any shape, way, or form. Having said that, if people don't know, those people have abandoned me with my mother's corpse in Douala simply because they didn't want to go in the Bamileke region. That's a private story. Now, I also hear people talking about BAS. I would like to tell everyone that the regime, as you probably know in the Ambazonian struggle, has used some of our own to divide us, but also to betray us. And this happens because they are experienced in that game of maintaining, stay in power. So they know the tricks of the books to infiltrate any struggle. The other thing I hear about myself is that I am advocating for one Cameroon. I have said it and I will say it again. I am one that always speak for a new territory, a new country with the flag of Ambazonia. I have worn on myself the t-shirt of Ambazonia. I have spoken up for a free Ambazonia, and I haven't changed. I haven't moved 1 inch from that position from day one. Of course, I am a Kamto supporter, but I answered to that question already on this platform. Mr. Kamto has his policy. He's a political leader. I am an activist. I'm not part of any political party. I am free of my opinions, and I am not speaking for any political parties. For myself, I would like to see Ambazonia free, simply because they have paid the price for that freedom.
All right. All right. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Chris.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from?
From Abakwa, precisely.
From where? Sorry, your sound quality is not the best.
From Abakwa, precisely.
Oh, okay. So what is your contribution, sir?
I would like to appreciate the lady on board and to thank you, Mr. Chris, for the wonderful work you are doing. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go on. There's a bad network there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello. 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 Right, these people call and when you pick, they remain mute.
Can I just stress as well that as people are trying to relate me to the government simply because I happen to be half Bulu, if I say that I have a family in Mankon that ran away and lost some family members in the struggle, I have a family in Kumba that also had to flee the war, my grandmother who had to walk through the bushes and reach Douala. So this war has also touched me on a personal level.
All right, hold on, Sandy, hold on there. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
From Abakwa Pris.
Okay, yeah, your audio is on and off. Go on, sir. Go on.
I would like to appreciate you for the wonderful work you are doing for the struggle for Ambazonia, and to appreciate the lady on board today. She might be a Francophone, she might come from the other side of, the Mongo, but it is not all all Francophones who think the other way. Some of them are not really happy with the system on board. They are not happy with the system in place, but they have a voice also to speak and to help the situation. Mr. Chris, I want to thank you for your courage, for the death of your own brother, our leader, our brother in the struggle, the Field Marshal. I want to thank you if you can come back at this point in time to speak and to take the courage when a soldier falls, another one rises or another one remains or continues the battle. The only thing I want to contribute from previous scholars, I want to tell you that here in the Northwest region, the Francophones or the system in place they are now penetrating using the Bambili keys, which the thing also that come to was nothing to them or something to them and they want to betray come to. The military or the Francophones in place are putting in these Bamileke people who own sheds here in Queen, other parts of the city of Bamenda, to spot out, discuss with people, understand the system, what is going on, and to betray them. They make huge sums of money in this aspect, and they are using this forum to dictate and to penetrate the people, work with them, then leak out informations. That is why you see the military now has a kind of a base and inside information. They move to quarters, they pick people, and they just disappear with those people. So military cannot come to a place like around Bachongwa, and they have a spotted or a targeted area to penetrate. In Mankon and in other places, just the same way. The Bamileke people are now doing a kind of a job here. I don't know if they themselves, they feel the pinch, they feel the pain of the Anglophones who are now the victims or the direct eye of the situation in Cameroon. It is not surprising that Mr. Chris Macron's visit here in Cameroon, they could not address the situation. So something is wrong. I believe with other speakers that Macron's visit here was for economic reasons, not for political reasons or the war. Mr. Chris, it is time we stand up. I strongly thank the lady for her courage, but let her redress certain things and for us to move forward. There is no bad egg, only by their fruit we shall know them. Thank you very much for the program for today. God keep blessing you and keep you, strengthen you, make you who you are for the Ambazonia struggle. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well articulated. I will let Sandy to come in and say what you can say in response to your point there. Sandy, you heard him, correct?
I did hear that.
The Bamilekes are playing not just in Bamenda, even in Victoria and everywhere in Ambazonia. They are now what we call the official black legs that French Cameroon soldiers are employing to use in the picking up our people, not even just the fighters, but innocent civilians, which is part of the anger that Ambazonians have against Francophones resident in our territory?
Absolutely, I do understand the concern, and like I said in my introduction, not being on the ground, I cannot judge of how people feel and what they live on a daily basis. The situation on ground zero now in Ambazonia is so complex that the regime will be looking for all means to try and penetrate and gather information and also harm the fighters on the ground. Um, Unfortunately, it might happen that is those people that are already on the ground that they are using. But I would just give a word of caution: is it all the Bamile case or is it some of them? Because if we are using a sense of generalization and saying,
I think they are saying the overwhelming majority of them. Yes, the overwhelming majority of them. Because I have witnessed this. When we call for ghost towns and lockdowns, guess who is breaking them? The Francophones. The overwhelming majority of them. They are traders. They are civil servants. They go to work. They go and open their shops. Now, you're not talking about 3, 4, or 6, or 20 people. You're talking about traders. So you can understand that it's something going on among the overwhelming majority of Francophones in Bamenda, in Victoria, in Kumbai, in Boya. They are there.
Again, as I said, it would be very misplaced for me to judge on a situation that I don't really know. And I do understand the feeling of betrayal that people feel when they are faced with such situations. All that I'm just saying is that it would be not fair to put everyone in one basket, because as a repercussion of that feeling, us here in the diaspora have a lot of difficulty relating to our fellow activists from Ambazonia here and trying to put projects together. The, it's a very, very complex one. It's a very difficult one because people need to defend themselves. People need to protect themselves. And if they have the feeling that there is a loop somewhere, the natural reaction would be to try and close that loop. But again, I would really, really beg people not to generalize and put everyone in the same basket, because I'm sure that out there are some Francophones that completely support the Ambazonian struggle and that are ready to to do what it takes to help them. But I'm very, very, very saddened to hear that there is an overwhelming majority of Francophones that are giving out information to the government to weaken the struggle. It's also very concerning. It's very alarming, because the only thing that this situation will lead is to generalized sentiment of hatred, of anger, and we don't want the situation to be worse than it is now. So it's a very difficult one. It is. It really is. So it's a very difficult one. It is. It really is. No sound, Mr. Secretary. No sound, Mr. Secretary. No sound. No sound.
You cannot.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, my microphone was muted. Can you start all over again?
Sorry, sir.
You say you are calling from Maryland, right?
Yeah, my name is Ernest.
All right, go on, please.
Yeah.
My mic was muted.
All right, sorry, sir, about that. Like I was saying to your guest, who is like kind of not very comfortable with the generalization of the issue of family case. And I was saying, if you have 10 people standing on the other side and people are beating you up here and nobody shows up from the other side to empathize with you, do you select those who are standing there and having their issues and they are not even concerned, and those who are concerned or whatever? So do you select anyone out of them to say that could really sympathize with your situation? You cannot select. And you see the fact that none of them has, either by a stray bullet, have a problem up to today, 6 years going on. They have not had a stray bullet, and the people that are dying from amongst them. And you don't hear them mingle to say that, oh, this and the like. No, they make sure they go out of that kind of issue. They don't want to identify or to be part of it in any way. That is by sympathizing with anybody. So if something is going to happen, it will happen in the same way, because the characteristic is one.
So,
all of them.
What is your point, so that she can respond to you?
My point is that this is war, and we cannot start saying that who is involved and who is not involved. So the only thing is that if somebody is listening to us, he should start finding a way to let the people know who he is and what he can do and how he can help. And then that person has served himself. Otherwise, it's the family case. That's all.
All right. Thank you for the call. That will be the last call for the day. Sandy, take it from there.
Thank you very much for your question and your concerns. Also, I just come back to another point that I missed earlier on. Somebody said that I was a good friend to Eric Tato. May I just correct this and say I have met Eric Tato once at a meeting in the USA in 2019. And in no way, shape, or form I have spoken to him since. So that's just to put that.
I think the person
aside.
also mentioned other names, mentioned Sako, Tuo, and others.
I don't know Mr. Sako. I don't know where
He
it
also
is.
mentioned Iringwa. You know Iringwa?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
The people I have worked with, and that there is evidence of collaboration with them, are the ones I have named on this show, which are Barrister Nalova B, Kingsley Ebon, and another Ambazonian activist who is actually working on a project for farmers in Ambazonia. That's the three main people I have collaborated with. No, I don't know any of those. I certainly hear the names on social media, but I have no dealings with them.
Okay.
Now, coming back on the question that was addressed to me by the last caller, I do understand that in a situation of war that is very fluid, there is no time to say, okay, we have time to pick this one out of that one, and that is the general feeling is that the people on ground zero are betrayed by, in general, Bamile case. But yes, it's normal that I feel very uneasy with that, because it makes me feel very sad. It actually makes me feel very sad that this Francophone situation has just boiled down to one tribe. Maybe because they are the settlers, they are the ones that settle in those
they're
regions.
the ones that are settled there. They are the ones that are settled there, so you can imagine.
Absolutely, absolutely. But then again, there were two issues that are picked up here. There is the issue of that they don't want to get involved, like the last caller said. So they don't want to get involved into the mourning, into the crying. They act like if whatever is happening around them does not concern them, which is the problem that we are actually also facing in French Cameroon. We are facing the same issue where people are being beaten, arrested, killed by the government, and no one is lifting a finger to say anything, starting from the lower people in the society to the highest people. Everyone is acting like if everything was okay, like if there was no trouble at all in Cameroon. All the artists, the comedians, the celebrities are completely avoiding to talk about the issues in Cameroon, which are the political issues and the war. The political issues, we can even leave that, but say the war in Cameroon, that war that is raging in Ambazonia. People should be denouncing it, talking and calling for peace. And that's why I have been very violent against artists. You have seen us boycotting Grace de Car and the Ben de Car and all those big artists. And this was very extremely violent. We were on the ground being beaten and arrested by the police.
Where was that?
So that was in Paris.
Okay.
That was in Paris. It was proper war in Paris. We waged war because we didn't want her to sing without saying a single word on what is going on in Ambazonia, without calling for peace.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, when things like this happen around the world. You look at Ukraine, for example, you see celebrities talking about it. If it is in Europe, you find celebrities condemning it. In a lot of people to Cameroon or back in Ambazonia, Samuel Eto'o will go to Victoria and preach football and doesn't say a thing about the killings or even the war.
Even worse,
and all these musicians, all these so-called musicians, maybe with the exception of Longueur, who is very stubborn.
Thank you very much.
You will never hear them mention the killings in Ambazonia, the war in Ambazonia. None of them. And that is why Ambazonians are mad.
And this is why today I am the most feared of the activists, because I feel very strongly about that. And when I go out there, I don't go to joke. I am not going out to joke. I am going out to do whatever I can to make those people, for one, stand up and say, this war has to stop. So it will start with celebrities, because those are the people that influence society. Footballers, singers, comedians, all those people. Someone like Samuel Eto'o, if I see him, I will be very extremely violent towards him, because he actually went to Boya and he made a video saying he can eat soya in Boya without armed guards, just to say that everything is going fine in Boya. This is an insult to the people who are dying on a daily basis. So we have those two issues. The issue where French Cameroonians act as if there was no war, as if everything was okay. They don't care about what's going on in Ambazonia. They don't care about the killings of baby Caroline, of baby Martha, of Florence Ayafo, of the killings of Ngabu, of the killings of Kumba. They don't care.
Absolutely not. They
and
don't
this
care.
Is my struggle, my fight to raise, to make people stand up. All of us stand up and say, stop the war.
All right.
But then again, this is a different issue from the issue of people actually enabling the genocidal army of Biya in Ambazonia.
Absolutely.
So people not caring is different from people actually helping the army to kill people. And this is where I am actually very, very angry to hear that the feeling is that the majority of Francophones are helping, enabling the army to go on and destroying, killing, and raging war in Ambazonia.
Okay. Sandy, listen, thank you very much for accepting my invitation to come on this show. I want to believe you are one partner out there that we can talk to, we can work with to free Ambazonia, and you can also be a link out there because I have no doubt there are like-minded people like you out there from your part of the country, even though you are denying, rejecting that part of the country. But I want to believe there are people like that that we can connect together and, as some of the callers say, not just talk, but also plan on something material that can actually go towards this war. I look forward to coming back talking to you behind the backs, and let's see what we can do in that regard. Any last thing you'd like to say before you go?
The last thing I would say is that I address my respect to the people of Ambazonia for their resilience. I pay my tribute to the Field Marshal of Ambazonia, who I loved very much, and you must have seen a video of us proclaiming him. And I am
That was the video
very confident.
was that in Belgium or France?
That was in Germany, in
Germany,
Cologne.
correct. Yes. Where you were shouting Field Marshal.
Absolutely.
Were you there?
I was there. I was the lady in white.
But you people were criticized in that video because you were essentially saying in that video you wanted to go contract with Field Marshal to come fight over with you in Francophone Cameroon. And many Ambazonians, including myself, we didn't like it. We were like, why can't you grow your own Field Marshals?
I know. And I remember your criticism at that time. As I explained in the beginning of the show, having leaders on the ground in French Cameroon has proven to be very difficult. It's not impossible, but at the moment, with how the people are behaving on the ground, is proving to be very, very difficult. And that's why we wanted to work with the great Field Marshal of Ambazonia, because we knew that he had the courage, he had, let me use that word, the balls to do so. And that video has made me a wanted person in French Cameroon. Even being on your show, if I set my foot there, I'll be cut into pieces. I have no doubt about that. But just to show that that was our aim. We always wanted to create something that will overturn the regime. Unfortunately, that video was also the beginning of our trouble, because from that conference we had, the regime acted swiftly and touched some of us and turned them against us, unfortunately.
All right. Again, Sandy Boston. I don't know whether those are your real names, but they sound good. Good to have you here on the ABS. I look forward to talking with you later, but I appreciate your coming on. You have a great night, man. I know it's late out there in London.
Right. Sorry.
Yes, I said you have a great night there. I know it's late out there in London. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. And greetings to all the brave people, all the fighters on Ground Zero. The struggle goes on, and I'm sure that you will go successfully to Buea. You will reach Buea.
Amen. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Sandy Boston joining me from London. She is one activist out there who has distinguished herself as a supporter for Ambazonia. And I like the challenge that some of you put out there to her. Say, hey, Sandy, we like the way you talk. They will want to see your material support, and I will take that up with her because I think with her network we can support some of our people on the ground. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in and remind you, please download ABS onto your TV set. If you have Roku at home, you can download ABS and watch it on television just as people in Africa are watching on satellite television. We are broadcasting 24/7 on the television and on Roku. This show will actually be repeated there for those who did not watch it live. So you want to receive ABS 24/7, just download it. If you are in Europe, if you are in the US, in the Middle East, in South America, you have Roku. Again, you can receive ABS just as anyone on Ground Zero watching it by satellite. Before I go, just like to remind all of you, FMA, the Field Marshal of Ambazonia, will be celebrated on August the 13th in Washington, D.C., and every Ambazonian is welcome to come and say a final thank you and good night to Field Marshal the King, who served us and laid down his life to free Ambazonia. It is not easy to remember that he is just gone, he is gone and will never be seen again. I miss his phone calls early every morning. I didn't go to bed any night until between midnight and 3 a.m. when I was expecting me to call to say, hey, it's daybreak here, we are okay. I've been waiting since then, hoping that I will hear him call. I will receive a call from him one of these nights or mornings, and I didn't receive one. It is painful. It is very, very painful. But I think that was God's time for him. That was God's time for him. And the only thing we can do is to celebrate his service for all of us. So join us in Washington, D.C., Maryland Metro, August the 13th. The venue will be announced in the days ahead. But if you have to fly from another city, another state to come to Maryland for that ceremony, you can book your flight. Again, the date has been written on stone. It is August the 13th, Saturday, August the 13th. We'll be celebrating him. Like again to thank you for tuning in. I look forward to being back here by God's grace. By God's grace, I believe on Wednesday, I should be back here. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. And I say good night to you all.